Hello everyone, welcome back to another weather forecast video. Today will be a longer video as we will be going over many things involving the tropics, pattern changes, and even foliage reports. So if we get started here, we can see that up here, all this messy blob of storms up here is actually the leftover pieces of Hurricane Oscar, and is now not expected to become anything tropical as it lifts off to the north. And real quick, I thought we should talk about this over here. So this is actually Nadine that made landfall in Belize last week, and is now all the way over here in the Pacific, and is currently Hurricane Christy as a Category 4 hurricane, and is forecast to become a Category 5 hurricane by 1 a.m. this evening. So since we are on the topic of the tropics, I wanted to quickly bring up a couple stats for this hurricane season. So far, it has been an estimated $116 billion in damage is from this year's hurricane season, making it the fourth costliest hurricane season on record. And that number could possibly continue to go up, as even though there is no forecast over the next 7 days, the Caribbean is pretty primed environment right now for tropical development. And any system that could move in here could cause problems, as this is a very low sheared environment, and the ocean heat content continues to be very high, and high ocean temperatures are a key factor in tropical development, and this year's ocean content can act as almost like jet fuel for these tropical cyclones. And if we bring it over here to the hazards outlook, we can see that I'm not the only one thinking this, as the Climate Prediction Center has a highlighted area of a 40% chance of probability for tropical cyclone formation here in the Western Caribbean. And that is for the week 2, October 30th through November 5th outlook. And for our week 3 outlook, November 6th through the middle of November, you can see they also have an highlighted area of over 20% chance probability for tropical cyclone formation. So I'm not the only person saying this, so there is a possibility for tropical cyclone development in the Caribbean over the next 3 weeks. And we do not currently have any outlooks for the next 7 days, as things are expected to stay more quiet, but we will have to continue to watch as we are still in hurricane season. Now, I thought we would bring this up because it is that time of year and we are in fall. As you can see here, you can find this map at Explorer Fall Foliage Map. You can see here that our October 23rd, which is today, estimated foliage shows that northern areas in northern Wisconsin, or these northern states in northern New England, are already past their peak color in their trees, whereas areas most of Wisconsin and northern Iowa and places in New England are at peak color currently for their trees, and anywhere below that is between low and moderate color. And if we drag this out, we can see here that by November 10th, all these northern states are past their peak color in their foliage, and a lot of these areas are getting to their higher peak color. And if we drag this all the way out to November 30th, their estimated foliage is that almost the entirety of the United States is past its peak color for the year, and areas down in Florida and southern Texas are at their peak color. And now that we have covered the fall foliage and tropical weather outlook, we can come over here to the Storm Prediction Center that has an area of most of Iowa highlighted in a day 2 marginal risk for severe weather. And this is mostly for the risk of hail, but it is a somewhat favorable environment for tornadoes and damaging winds too. But the main problem is that we don't know for sure how many storms and if storms will fire, as there will be a capping issue tomorrow. And there is also a lack of instability tomorrow, as there is not much moisture that is drawn up from the Gulf and has made it up there. So we will have to watch these storms tomorrow. A live stream is not expected. But I will be on the lookout, as these storms, if they do get going, stay semi-discreet and that cap is broken and there is a little more instability and moisture in the air. We could have more problems than just a marginal risk, but I do not expect that, and I will bring you over to the models here. If we bring it over here to the GFS, we can see here that as we come into Thursday here, there's a low pressure system dipping down here, and that creates shear here in Iowa, and this actually is a decently favorable environment, but there is a, like I said before, there is a lack of storms, or we are very uncertain how the storms will act and if they do fire. So we will have to continue to watch this area, and I don't think we will likely see too bad of storms tomorrow, but it depends on if the storms can fire, get past the cap, and stay on their own and get a little stronger as we go into the evening hours here. And if we bring it over here to the HRRR, we can get an idea of what the storms may look like and what the radar may look like in the future. So if we bring it out here to Thursday, uh, later Thursday evening, we can see storms fire off here in the Iowa-Missouri region, and these storms actually look a little stronger as they go into the later evening, and we can see they kind of form more of a linear line as they move out, and this is a weakening line of thunderstorms, so I wouldn't expect much out of that. But it does look like these initial cells do look decent, and I think if any of them can take more advantage and become more surface based, they could produce a tornado or two, which I think is very unlikely. Otherwise, our main threat we're looking at tomorrow is possible hail, possibly some larger hail if the storms could take advantage of their environment. So we will have to continue to monitor the situation and watch out. But I believe hail is most definitely going to be the main threat tomorrow. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a report of isolated damaging winds. And I think tornadoes are very unlikely tomorrow. But if the storms become more surface based, it is most definitely a possibility in tomorrow's environment. And now lastly, we can bring it over here to the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. And areas in the eastern United States from the Central Plains all the way eastern have the likely chance of above average temperatures as we go over the next 6 to 10 days. So that would be between October 29th and November 2nd. So the Halloween forecast for these areas, which I will have a Halloween forecast video coming out over the next couple days, shows above average temperatures over here in the eastern side of the United States, whereas on the western side is the complete opposite, and there is a likely chance for below normal average temperatures as they come out into the end of October. And if we bring it over here to the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, we can see that it kind of almost tells the same story from October 31st through November 6th. Areas in the western United States are leaning below normal, and areas in the eastern United States have a better chance of leaning above average. And for one last thing, because we do have a lot of droughts going on, if we bring it over here to the precipitation map for the next 6 to 10 days, areas in the central U.S., in some of the Great Lakes region, most of these areas here are likely going to be above average in precipitation. And for our 8 to 14 day outlook, the same areas here are likely to be above average in precipitation as the 6 to 10 day outlook. And this is a very good thing as there's currently a drought going on for much of the United States as there has been a lack of rain in a lot of areas, and the wildfire risk is very high right now. And if we're bringing it out here to the GFS temperature model, we can get an idea of what that graph is actually showing. So if we drag it out here, we have a cold front moving through the Great Lakes region as we speak. And then right in time for that temperature outlook, we can see these areas here starting to build up in temperature. And then that spreads out to the east, having much above normal temperatures likely for a Great Lakes region and Central Plains, and that will likely continue before possibly another big cold front moves through, but that is very far out, so we cannot be certain for sure if that will happen or not. And I would like to thank you guys for joining me in another weather forecast video. I should have a Halloween outlook coming over the next couple days, and a live stream is not likely tomorrow, but I will continue to monitor the situation. Thank you for joining me in this weather forecast video, and I hope to see you in the next.